And good evening, baseball fans, and welcome to another edition of Klamath Falls Falcons Baseball on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on MyBasin.com. It is the final day in the last frontier for the Falcons as they find themselves at Mulcahy Stadium here in Anchorage for the Alaska 529 Midseason Classic. My name is Josh Eldridge. Thank you so much for joining us for this game and what we hope will turn into two games on this Sunday evening as the Klamath Falls Falcons are in the semifinal against the Service Cougars. Klamath Falls 16-3-1 overall on the season. They are 2-0-1 here in tournament play. Looking back at the tournament so far for the Klamath Falls Falcons, they were able to defeat South Anchorage 14-2. Follow that up with a 10-5 win against Chugiak in the second day of the tournament, and they tied with Kenai last night, that being their one tie on the season. Taking a look at the Service Cougars, who are 7-3 overall on the season. And in this tournament, they opened up the tournament with an 11-0 win over Diamond. They lost to Madisonville of Kentucky 8-4 in the second game before defeating West Anchorage last night to book their ticket here in the semifinal. Service is the second team coming out of Pool A, while the Falcons are the top team coming out of Pool B. The winner of this game will advance to play Madisonville from Kentucky as they won their semifinal against Kenai 14-1 by mercy rule a little while ago. So they are watching and waiting to see who they will play here in this matchup. We're going to take a quick break here on the pregame show, and when we come back, we'll introduce you to the starting lineups for both teams on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com. First pitch here from Anchorage right around the corner, so stick around.
Pacific Power works day in and day out to power our communities because we know our neighbors rely on us. We're trimming and clearing branches around poles and lines, protecting our system, and giving you real-time updates when storms roll in. You can count on us in all seasons. 24/7, we're here for you. Powering your greatness.
The cars we drive play an important part of our everyday. Whether we're going to work, dropping off the kids at school, or maybe even on that first date. Vehicles we drive play an important role in all of that. And that's why at Klamath Falls Subaru, we are so passionate about getting you the long-lasting vehicle that you will love. When you come to our store, you'll find that every department is dedicated to caring for our customers, which is why I can proudly send anyone here knowing that they will be treated like family. Stop by and say hi. When you come to Klamath Falls Subaru, you're coming home.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see two things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys and I want to see my high school. And those are the two memories that stick out the most to me.
As a parent of a high school athlete, I've given up trying to get pictures of my kid playing sports. It's nearly impossible to take pictures and enjoy the game. There is a solution, though. God's Gifts Photography attends high school sporting events in the Basin to take individual and team action photos at a great price. Search God's Gifts 2 on Facebook to learn more. They'll come and capture your athlete in action, creating those frameable lifelong memories so you can watch and just enjoy the moment. Call 541-281-2206 to get your athlete on their schedule. God's Gifts Photography.
Josh Eldridge back with you from Mulcahy Stadium here in Anchorage, Alaska for the Alaska 529 Midseason Classic semifinal between the Klamath Falls Falcons and the Service Cougars. The Klamath Falls Falcons have taken the field behind their starting pitcher, Colin Takini. We'll take a look at Colin here in just a moment, but first the starting nine for the Service Cougars. Chase Maselli is the shortstop. He leads off, followed by Sebastian Fournier at third base, batting second. Owen Hickman, the pitcher, bats third, followed by Landon Martindale, the catcher, batting cleanup. Hitting fifth is Keegan Lennox, the center fielder. Riker Schreck is at first base, batting sixth. Takumi Kosaka is in left field, batting 7th. Hitting 8th is Kyler Jensen in right field. And Palmer Dalton rounds out the order for service. He bats 9th. And now the starting 9 for the Klamath Falls Falcons that goes like this. Max Price leads off at second base. Connor Shively, the shortstop, bats 2nd, followed by Jacoby Takini, the catcher, hitting 3rd. Colin Takini is the pitcher. He bats cleanup, followed by P.J. Safford, the third baseman, hitting 5th. Carson Sims is in center field. He bats 6th, followed by Corbin Hamilton, the first baseman, batting 7th. Ryan Glidden bats 8th in right field, and Ryan Douglas rounds out the order for the Falcons. He is in left, and they'll be going up against Owen Hickman when the time is right in the bottom of the first inning. The Falcons, of course, the home team today, being the top team out of Group B and earning this spot in the semifinal. As Colin Takini finishes his warm-up tosses, we'll take a look at Colin so far on the season, making his 5th appearance and his 5th start. He carries a 2-0 record in 19 2/3 innings pitched. He's given up 19 hits, 9 runs, 5 earned. He's walked 4. He has struck out 18 batters. Good enough for an ERA of 1.78 as Takini gets ready to do battle against the leadoff hitter, Chase Maselli. Service in gray uniforms today with yellow piping down their pants. They've got green socks and green caps today. The Klamath Falls Falcons in their red uniforms with white pants. Falcons written across their chest, cursive in blue with a white outline. Their blue caps with the red brim. And here we go. First pitch is right on time. Here in Anchorage, a nice day, 65 degrees. The sun is out. And it's been a great day for baseball so far. Already 2 games in the book here on the final day of the 5-2-9 Midseason Classic. Started out with the 5th place game earlier today, and that saw Chugiak defeat West Anchorage 11-3. As Takini fires in the 1-1 pitch, nearly got Maselli on the inside. The count now 2 balls and a strike. Of course, I said Madisonville won their semifinal. They defeated Kenai 14-1, so haven't been particularly close baseball games through the first part of today, and that's in stark contrast to the action that we saw yesterday here in Anchorage as the 2-1 pitch missed upstairs, the count 3-1. Every game yesterday decided by 2 runs or less, with a couple of ties on the final day of group play as an outside fastball produced a swing and a miss from Maselli, and the count is full to the leadoff hitter. Takini looks in, gets the sign from his cousin, Jacoby Takini, behind the dish, goes with the 3-2. It's bounced right back to Colin on the mound, fields it, walks halfway over to first before making the throw over, and that will be the first out in the first inning. And he'll bring up Sebastian Fournier for service. Well, going back to yesterday, Kenai played 2 games to a tie. They tied with Chugiak 5-5 and then tied with the Falcons 4-4. Service came away with a 1-run win yesterday against West Anchorage. That was a 5-4 final. And Madisonville won their game against Diamond 5-3. So close games yesterday. Hasn't been the case yet today. But in the very brief time I've gotten to see what Service has been able to do here in this tournament, they look like a formidable opponent for the Falcons here in the semifinal. Takini started out the at-bat to Fournier with a strike called, and the next pitch missed inside. The count is even now, a ball and a strike to the starting third baseman for the Service Cougars. Here's the delivery from Takini. That one misses upstairs. The count, a ball and 2 strikes. Taking a look at Fournier on the season, .296 hitter for Service, as that one is popped up out of play foul. Count will remain a ball and 2 strikes. After Fournier in the order is Owen Hickman for the Cougars. Here's Takini ready to go from the windup, the 2-2. Goes off speed, and just getting a piece of it that time was Fournier. The count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Fournier has 1 extra base hit this season. He's had 8 RBIs, 7 runs scored, batting in the 2-hole for Service today. The 2-2 pitch is a curveball that's slapped on the ground into left field and a base hit. Fournier with a 1-out single. It's the first base hit of the ball game. Bring up Owen Hickman, the starting pitcher for Service. Will get a chance to swing the bat first against Colin Takini. Wait, the first pitch from Colin. Check on the runner over at first before delivering is a fastball right down the middle, and the count is 0-1. Hickman, so far on the season, batting .452, is the leading hitter for Service coming into the ball game today. Move over to first. Back safely is the runner, Fournier. Batting from the right side, Hickman leads the team in hits with 14 on the year and runs scored. That pitch is going to be called a strike. The throw down to second to try to get Fournier. That pitch missed outside. So the count is 1-1, and Fournier in safely at second. And so a man in scoring position for Hickman. 5 RBI for him on the year. And a chance to get the first run across here in the semifinal. Not a very aggressive lead for Fournier off second. Shively looking to keep him honest over there. And now the pitch. It's a curveball. It's a line drive over the head of Shively down into center field. They're going to hold Fournier at third after a good throw in from center field, but a single will put runners at the corners for Landon Martindale. Martindale this season is batting .211 for Service. Batting from the left side. Like I said, a chance to get the first run across for his team. Decent lead off of first for Hickman. See if they've got anything going with runners at the corners, less than 2 outs. And instead, they'll try to check on him over there. Takini allows that runner to get back safely. Going around the diamond for the Falcons, P.J. Safford at third, Connor Shively at short, Max Price is at second with Corbin Hamilton at first. And we'll get you the outfield after the first pitch to Martindale. Runner on the move from first. It's a pitch out. Takini pump fakes down to second, but holds on to it. And so instead, there will be 2 men in scoring position with Hickman taking second and still just 1 away. In the outfield for the Falcons, Ryan Douglas is in left, Carson Sims is in center, and Ryan Glidden is in right. The outfield for the Falcons shaded a bit towards that right side with the left-handed hitter at the plate. And the 1-0 pitch on the way is grounded over towards Hamilton. He'll take it to the bag himself for the out, but a run does score as Fournier touches home, coming in from third, advancing to third. On the play was Hickman, and an RBI for Martindale gives Service a 1-0 lead in the top of the first inning. Here's Keegan Lennox batting from the left side as well for Service. Takini comes set, working from the stretch. Here's the first pitch. It's a fastball that misses upstairs. The count is 1-0. After Lennox in the order, it's Riker Schreck. Lennox bats fifth here for Service. Takini comes set in the 1-0. And the delivery is an off-speed pitch that finds the inside corner about knee-high. The count is a ball and a strike to Lennox. Lennox this season batting .318 for Service. Here's the pitch from Takini. Flares that one the opposite way foul. The count is a ball and 2 strikes. Runner at third is Owen Hickman. Reached on the single earlier this inning. Already 1 run home for Service as they lead in the top of the first. Takini comes set, and the pitch is going to be also hit foul down the third base side. Count remains a ball and 2 strikes. Takini back on the rubber, gets the sign from Jacoby behind the plate. Jacoby gives the target inside. Here's the pitch. It's a fastball that's grounded down the first base side, foul. Left-hander tried to get the barrel around on the inside pitch, but just a little bit out in front of it. So the count will remain 1-2. Takini set once more, the 1-2. Here it comes. Curveball lifted in the infield, high in the air. Hamilton comes in, calls everybody off, and makes the catch to retire the side. But the Cougars strike first on 2 singles in the first inning. They leave a man stranded and will go to the bottom half next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
Time to reclaim your health and your autonomy. At Heartfelt OBGYN, they focus on you. Their evidence-based approach to care means fewer office visits and a targeted treatment plan to directly address your specific needs. They believe in solutions for their patients, not the industry's profit margin. The providers at Heartfelt OBGYN are committed to serving the community and giving back to the basin. Find them at heartfeltobgyn.com. Heartfelt, because you deserve to be in control of your body and your informed choices.
At Eisler Group, they are confident that their tax and accounting professionals are experienced and trained like no one else. From individual, corporate, partnership, estate, trust, Eisler Group stands ready to help you with all of your financial, tax, and accounting needs. They have been in Klamath Falls for nearly 60 years, raising their families here and being part of the community. The Eisler Group can be found at eislerkf.com. That's ISLERKF.com. eislerkf.com.
Getting set for the bottom of the first inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com. The Klamath Falls Falcons trail the Service Cougars going to this half inning, and it will be Owen Hickman on the mound for Service. Taking a look at Hickman so far this season. Well, best I can tell, this may be his very first outing. No numbers. No numbers on the mound. Sounds like this is his first start after arm surgery, missed the springtime for him, and back now for the summer. So he's getting his first crack at things here in the semifinal against the Klamath Falls Falcons. Again, their lineup goes like this. Max Price leads off. Connor Shively bats second. Jacoby Takini bats third. They'll be followed this half inning by Colin Takini, P.J. Safford, Carson Sims, Corbin Hamilton, Ryan Glidden, and Ryan Douglas. As Price gets ready to settle in for the Falcons, they'll try to answer the call as Service scored that single run in the top half. Taking a look at Max Price on the season. Price batting .400 for the Klamath Falls Falcons. And he gets ready for his first look against Owen Hickman. Here's the pitch. It's going to find the outside corner. That's a strike. 0-1, the count to Max Price. Behind the dish is Martin Dale for Service. We'll go around the diamond after this at-bat for Price, as that one misses well outside, took up some turf with it, and the count is even now at a ball and a strike. 1-1 on the way from Hickman. That one also misses outside. The count is 2-1. So with Hickman coming off surgery in the springtime and recovering in the springtime, making his first start. See how long Service lets him go for in this contest. Be something to keep track of as Price lifts one high in the air to left field, and it is caught by the left fielder Kosaka for the first out in the first inning. It'll bring up Connor Shively. Like I said, Martindale's catching, Fournier at third, Maselli at short, Dalton's at second with Schreck at first, Kosaka in left, Lennox in center, and Jensen is in right. Pitch on the way to Connor Shively as that one missed up and away. The count is 1-0. Shively, of course, the team's leading hitter, batting .513 this season for the Falcons. Instrumental with a couple of RBI yesterday. Here he lifts one the opposite way, foul, and the count is even now at a ball and a strike. All right, so Shively settles back in after the foul ball a moment ago. And the delivery on the way from Hickman. Here it comes. Again, hit the opposite way, and again foul. The count is a ball and 2 strikes to Shively. I said was instrumental in the tie in the, late inning comeback for the Falcons. They had to tie the game in the bottom of the 7th inning. And Shively coming up with the RBI to do the job and force extras in a game that eventually Falcons remained tied in, but still propelled them to the top spot out of Pool B in the 5-2-9 midseason classic as that pitch missed down below the knees and in the turf again to Shively. The count is full. The left-handed hitting shortstop for the Falcons. Pitch on the way. Ground ball towards first. Playing it on a couple hops is Schreck. He'll take it to the bag himself. 3 unassisted for the second out in the bottom of the first inning. Bring up Jacoby Tacchini, who bats with 2 away. Tacchini, the starting catcher, of course, for the Falcons this season. Tacchini batting .254 for Klamath Falls, but his 20 RBI rank among some of the best on the team. Here's the pitch to Tacchini. He'll take it on the outside corner for a strike. A fastball coming in there from Hickman, and the count is 0-1. Hickman ready to deliver again. The pitch is going to miss wide, but Tacchini checked his swing, and they're going to say, yes, he did go around. The count is 0-2 to Tacchini. So he'll choke up a little bit, settle back in on the right-handed batter's box. And here we go. The pitch is a curveball that Tacchini rips down the left field line, but again, it goes foul. Count is 0-2 to Tacchini. After Jacoby Tacchini in the order, it is Colin Tacchini for the Falcons. Hickman from the windup delivers the 0-2. That just misses outside. The count is a ball and 2 strikes. Looks like the fastball there from Hickman just drifted away. It's been missing outside to the right-handers here in the first inning a little bit, but was able to keep it out of the turf on that 0-2 pitch. Here's the 1-2. Tacchini hits that one in the air towards left. Kosaka moving towards the foul line will make the catch and end the inning. So the Falcons down in order in the bottom of the first inning, and we'll go to the top of the second next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool.
On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great.
Participate!
Getting set now for the top of the second inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on MyBasin.com. A 1-0 ball game in which the Klamath Falls Falcons trail the Service Cougars. It'll be 6, 7, and 8 in the order due up for service this half inning. That's Riker Schreck, Takumi Kosaka, and Kyler Jensen. As Colin Tacchini finishes up his warm-up tosses. It was 2 hits that scored the run for service in the top of the first. As Riker Schreck gets ready to settle in now. Take a look at the numbers for Schreck this season for service. He bats .300 for the Cougars so far this season. Couple of doubles and ranks second on the team in that category as he sends a line drive right back to Tacchini. I guess he played it on a hop. He makes the throw over to first, and that will be the first out in the second inning. Very similar to how Tacchini played the first out in the first inning, just a 1-3 in the book, and quickly 1 gone in the top of the second. Brings up Takumi Kosaka. Kosaka, the starting left fielder, hasn't had a ton of plate appearances yet for service, as his first pitch is a curveball from Tacchini that misses outside. The count 1-0. Kosaka bats .600, though. He's 3 for his first 5 on the season. The 1-0 pitch is a hard grounder out to short. Shively comes up with it. Throw across the diamond is there. And now there are 2 gone in the second inning. This will bring up Kyler Jensen, the starting right fielder for service with 2 away. Jensen on the season is batting .190 for service. He is 4 for his first 21 on the season, but he has worked 7 walks, which ranks tops on the team. As he takes a strike, the count is 0-1. So he's a guy who will seemingly give you a pretty solid at-bat. Here's the 0-1. Swings and misses at the outside curveball. The count is 0-2. Takini gets ahead of the number 8 hitter in the service order. Due up next is Palmer Dalton. Here's Takini with the 0-2. Goes off speed again. That one's lifted into the air to the right side, but out of play and foul, so the count will remain 0-2 to Kyler Jensen. Like I said, he's only batting .190, but his .393 on-base percentage, well, that's a pretty significant disparity there. As here he grounds one to left field, and he'll pick up a base hit here. Base hit number 5 of the season for him, come with 2 outs in the top of the second inning of this semifinal, and it will bring up Palmer Dalton for service. Dalton's another guy who has struggled through the first part of the summer. He's only 1 for his first 13, but as we just saw, it only might give you an idea of what these guys are capable of. As a team, Service is only hitting .266, but here in the semifinal of this tournament, they've done it off the backs of some quality pitching. First pitch on the way to Dalton is a curveball that misses high and away, and the count is 1-0. Dalton getting the start at second base today. Up next would be the top of the Cougars order with Chase Maselli on deck. 1-0 pitch. That one misses low, below the knees. 2-0. Looked like it might have caught the outside part of the plate. Not a bad location in a 1-0 count for Takini, but now he might have to come in and challenge the right-hander. Delivery on the way from Colin. That one's popped straight back, and the count is now 2-1. It was 2 quick ground outs to start the frame, and Kyler Jensen hit a ground ball into left field to extend the inning. He's still standing over there at first. Takini checks on him before coming set, and the pitch. It's a curveball that Takini misses inside with. Must have been inside. Looked about belt high. Again, not a bad location from Takini there, but the count is 3-1. Dalton keeps his legs spread in the batter's box, but will take an upstairs fastball for ball 4, moving Jensen over towards second and putting Dalton on first to the 2-out walk. And going back to the top of the order now for Chase Maselli. Maselli grounded out in the first inning, just right back to Takini. Sent a 1-hopper over to him, but this will be his second look at Colin this game. Takes a look at the runner at second. Jensen has a pretty significant lead out there. Shively's trying to keep him honest as Takini delivers home. Goes with a curveball, finds the outside corner. A nice pitch to get ahead there for Colin, and the count is 0-1. Due up next is Sebastian Fournier. The third baseman is on deck for service. Takini delivers the 0-1. That one is a 2-seamer that drifts outside. Count is now a ball and a strike to Maselli. Like I said, Maselli bats .286 this season for service. Takini gets the signal from Jacoby behind the plate and comes together for the 1-1. Here it is. Sharp grounder foul down the right side. Count is now a ball and 2 strikes. Service, the reigning Alaska state champions when it comes to Legion baseball. Won it in 2024, and they actually won a game at the Northwest Regional last year, too. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Another curveball that's hit foul. Count is 1-2. Service has picked up some quality wins already to start this year, too, even here just at this tournament. 11-0 win against Diamond. That's in their league as well. The 1-2 pitch is a curveball that's hit in the air towards center field. Coming in is the center fielder, Sims. Settles underneath it to make the catch and retire the side. So 1 hit and 2 runners left in the second inning, but no runs come across for Service. They do carry a 1-0 lead going to the bottom half of the second on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 120,000 participants here in Oregon who take part in high school sports or activities.
At mybasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
the pace and reach of social media,
the information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
MyBasin.com is your go-to place for news,
sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
New pitcher in the game for Service. So Hickman just getting the start today. And the new pitcher in for Service is going to be number 54, Braden Klepp. Take a look at him in just a moment, as he will have to go through the middle of the Falcons order. Colin Tacchini, P.J. Safford, and Carson Sims. All right, Colin Tacchini getting ready to step in. Taking a look at Klepp so far this season for Service. He has only pitched 1 inning coming into this contest. He gave up 1 hit and 2 runs, although none of them were earned. And he gets ahead of Tacchini here, 0-1. The pitch is going to miss upstairs there. The count is 1-1 to Colin. It's the starting pitcher for the Falcons, looking to get that run back that he gave up in the top of the first. And the pitch on the way from Klepp is going to find the outside corner. Looked like an off-speed pitch of some variety. The count is ball and 2 strikes. Tacchini settles back in. Right-hander from Lakeview High School. The 1-2 is a slider that misses inside. The count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Keeps his hands low in the batter's box. Keeps him up when the pitch is thrown as the 2-2 misses upstairs, and the count is 3-2. And the full count pitch on the way to Tacchini is grounded back up the middle. A sliding stop from Maselli, comes up with it and makes the throw onto first. And that'll be the first out in the second inning on a really nice play out at short by Maselli, retiring Tacchini. 1 away in the bottom of the second, and in steps P.J. Safford. Taking a look at Safford's numbers on the year for the Falcons. Getting another start at third base today. It's here at the tournament, at least. He started every game at third, except for the game where he pitched a complete game. That was back on Friday afternoon. At the plate, though, PJ is hitting .275 for the Falcons. As he readies for the first offering from Klepp. As that pitch misses low, the count is 1-0. Safford and then Carson Sims is due up next. Pitch on the way. The 1-0 is lined the opposite way, and a jumping catch made by Dalton at second. That is 2 near short thing base hits taken away by the Falcons to start the second inning. And there are now 2 gone for Carson Sims. Sims has been one of the leading hitters for the Falcons in this tournament. 3 for 9 in tournament play, 2 runs scored and 2 RBI. Was good enough to earn him the player of the game in the Falcons' first game here in Anchorage. He sends a line drive into center field. That one will get down for a base hit. And the first hit of the game for the Falcons off the bat of Carson Sims will bring up Corbin Hamilton. Hamilton has also had a great tournament so far, 4 for 8 in the tournament, 5 RBI. He is in second place in RBI total this tournament, as that one comes in and hits him high and tight. He looks to be okay, but there are now 2 men on base for Ryan Glidden. We'll go more in depth about Hamilton's tournament later on, as Ryan Glidden gets a chance to bat now for the Falcons. Taking a look at Glidden's numbers this summer, batting .250. He's 5 for his first 20 at the plate for the Falcons, but he's gotten quite a bit of time as a courtesy runner. His 21 runs scored are fourth most on the team, even though he's, like I said, only got 5 base hits. A quick conference out there on the hill. A time to remind you that today's broadcast on MyBasin.com brought to you by Heartfelt OBGYN in Klamath Falls and the Eisler Group. Appreciate those folks for stepping up and sponsoring our tournament broadcasts, first in Wasilla earlier in the week, and then, of course, here in Anchorage. Ryan Glidden getting ready to step in for the Falcons. Bats with 2 on and 2 away. At second base, it's Carson Sims. Corbin Hamilton is aboard at first. The first pitch to Glidden is going to miss downstairs. Count 1-0 to Ryan. The lone returning high school senior for the Falcons on this year's roster from Klamath Union High School. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. The count is now 1-1 to Glidden. Ryan Douglas is due up next, as I said, so hoping that Glidden can find a way to get on base and continue on this inning. The 1-1 pitch. That one is going to put him on base. It hit him square in the back, and will load the bases for Douglas, advancing Sims to third and Hamilton to second. Douglas this season for the Falcons, batting .368. 12 of his 14 hits have been singles. He does have a couple of doubles on the season. 8 RBI and a good opportunity to either tie or take the lead here for the Falcons. Ground ball up the middle. A sliding stop at short again by Maselli. Flips onto second, and that will retire the side. Falcons will head to the third, still looking for their first run. They trail service 1-0 on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
We drive play an important part of our everyday. Whether we're going to work, dropping off the kids at school, or maybe even on that first date. Vehicles we drive play an important role in all of that. And that's why at Klamath Falls Subaru, we are so passionate about getting you the long-lasting vehicle that you will love. When you come to our store, you'll find that every department is dedicated to caring for our customers, which is why I can proudly send anyone here knowing that they will be treated like family. Stop by and say hi. When you come to Klamath Falls Subaru, you're coming home.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see 2 things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys, and I want to see my high school. And those are the 2 memories that stick out the most to me.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure if you want to. Two, 3, 4 in the lineup due up for service. Sebastian Fournier, Owen Hickman. Pardon me, it won't be Hickman. It'll be the new pitcher into the game, which is Klepp. He'll bat second in this inning. Then it'll be Landon Martindale. The pitch is lined down the third base line, foul. The count is 0-1 as Dakini continues to work against Fournier, who's 1 for 1 in the contest. Fournier singled in the first inning. Here's the pitch from Takini. That one is going to miss inside. The count is even now at a ball and a strike. Like I said in the last half inning, this Cougars team coming fresh off of a Legion State championship a year ago, and it was a comeback win in that contest as well. An 8-5 championship win against Eagle River a year ago was their first championship since 2001. That pitch misses outside, now 2-2 to Fournier. And they would go on to participate in the AA Northwest Regional, which was in Billings, Montana, seasons ago, as the 2-2 is also fouled off. They won their first game at the regional 8-5 against the state winner from Idaho before they would later run into the Oregon State champs and a familiar foe to the Klamath Falls Falcons, the Eugene Challengers. Eugene wound up beating them 17-7, and then Anchorage tournament was short-lived after that as they lost to the host Billings 12-1, and that ended their regional as Takini finds the outside corner on the fastball and sets down the leadoff hitter Fournier in this inning. It'll bring up the new pitcher in the game, getting his first at-bat, Braden Klepp. Oh, no, is it still going to be Hickman? Do they keep Hickman in the game? Well, it'll be Hickman batting here. I thought when they subbed him out that would be it for him, but he'll take strike one here. Hickman did single in the first inning, but he was left stranded at third base in that frame as Takini used the off-speed pitch to get ahead. Here's the 0-1, goes off-speed again. That time it drifts outside. The count is 1-1. Well, Service coached by their head coach, Willie Paul, who just yesterday picked up his 240th win in Legion baseball. That's now the fifth most in Alaska State history. Like I said, leading his team to their first regional in over 20 years last year. As the 1-1 pitch was hit foul, the 1-2. Here it comes from Takini, goes off speed but misses high. The count is even now. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out in the top of the third inning. After Hickman, it's Landon Martindale who's due up next for Service. Pitch on the way from Takini. It's a line drive over the head of Shively and into left field. And a 1-out base hit for Hickman makes him 2 for 2 in the contest. And it brings up Martindale. Martindale grounded out in the first inning, but he got an RBI for his troubles. The only run of the game that's come across to score so far. Martindale bats from the left side. Keeps his hands back. Pretty close to the plate as well as the first pitch is in the turf and kicks away from Takini, allowing Hickman to advance to second. So a runner in scoring position now with 1 out for Martindale and another RBI opportunity for the Service catcher. Takini comes set with the 1-0. And the pitch is a line drive foul down the first base side. Hamilton laid out for it, but was well fouled. The count is even now at a ball and a strike. Martindale batting .211 this season. He's got 4, now 5 RBI after the one earlier in this game. Takini will take a look over at the runner at second before coming set and delivering the pitch. Hit in the air towards left center field. Douglas makes the catch on the run in the left center field gap to put that one away for the second out. Nice job by Douglas to get over there and call Sims off, taking charge and making the catch. It'll bring up Keegan Lennox. Lennox is 0 for 1 in the ball game, and he bats with 2 away here in the top of the third inning. That runner at second is Hickman. Like I said, he reached on a single earlier in the frame. Takini trying to keep him stranded out there. Gets the sign from Jacoby and shook off the first offering. That's going to cause Jacoby to call time and head on out, have a chat with his pitcher. And as he does, again, want to remind you that our broadcast coverage here in Alaska and in Wasilla earlier in the week is brought to you by Heartfelt OBGYN in Klamath Falls and the Eisler Group. Without those folks, wouldn't have been able to bring these games to you for free this week on mybasin.com or on 104.3 and 960 Sports. If that's where you've been listening to our coverage all week, wherever you found us, appreciate you all the same. As now Coach Craig Connor has come out of the Falcons dugout to join his infield in conversation. The last time the Falcons were here in Anchorage was the year 2000, and Craig Connor was the head coach of the team that year. The Falcons were not tournament champions in the year 2000. It was actually Lewiston, Idaho, who defeated Fraser Valley of Canada. There was never an Oregon champion at the 529 Midseason Classic until 2023 when the Eugene Challengers defeated Eagle River 4-1 in the title game. They are the first and only team to not only win the championship game, but to make the championship game. The Falcons are looking to join some pretty exclusive company. All right, the meeting on the mound is dispersed, and timeout is called at the plate by Lennox before the first pitch can be thrown. Lennox is 0 for 1. He flew out to end the first inning. Here's the first pitch from Takini. It's an elevated fastball that Lennox chases out of the zone. The count is 0-1. After Lennox in the order, if we get there, it's Riker Schreck. Column looks in, checks the runner at second, now comes set. Thrown from the right side of the rubber. Here's the pitch. It misses upstairs. The count is even now at a ball and a strike. Lennox batting .318, and his 10 RBI lead the team for service. The 1-1 pitch. It's a curveball that misses outside. Jacoby tried to frame it up for him, but still missed wide. The count is 2-1 to Lennox. Takini set. Another 3 or 4 steps off a second for Hickman, and then Shively beating his glove behind him. He takes another half step back as Takini delivers ball 3 as it missed low and away. An aggressive lead off second for Hickman. But in a 3-1 count, Takini needing to focus on the hitter at the plate. Doesn't even check the runner before coming set. Now delivers the pitch. It's hit in the air towards the left side of the infield in foul territory. Safford, near the third base coach's box, makes the catch to retire the side. So Service gets 1 base hit in the inning, but they can't do anything with it. They do carry a 1-0 lead to the bottom of the third next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
Pacific Power works day in and day out to power our communities because we know our neighbors rely on us. We're trimming and clearing branches around poles and lines, protecting our system, and giving you real-time updates when storms roll in. You can count on us in all seasons. 24/7, we're here for you. Powering your greatness.
Welcome you back to the bottom of the third inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on MyBasin.com. As you get ready for the bottom of the third inning, it's a 1-0 game in which the Service Cougars lead the Klamath Falls Falcons. Due up this half inning for the Falcons is going to be the top of their order. That's Max Price, Connor Shively, and Jacoby Takini to try to get things going for the boys in red down there. Again, they find themselves down a single run nearing the halfway point in the ball game. Looked like it might be a new pitcher in the game for Service. No, it is Riker Schreck out there pitching now for Service. Third pitcher in as many innings. Try to get the other changes for you because Schreck was playing first base a moment ago. Schreck throwing from the left side, fires in strike 1 against Max Price. So Price ready for the second offering from Schreck. Here it is. It is hit in the air, left center field, moving over is the center fielder, Lennox, and he puts that one away for the out. So Hickman is at first, Dalton at second, Maselli at short. Third is Fournier, Kosaka in left, Lennox in center, and Jensen in right. So there you go. Catcher is still Martindale. In steps Connor Shively, who's 0 for 1 in the contest. And that one is called a strike. The count is 0-1. Looked to be an off-speed pitch. Just found the outside corner against the left-handed hitting Shively. And the count is 0-1 to him. Grounded out to first in the first inning. Here's the pitch. That's a sharp grounder towards second. Dalton up with it. He'll throw on to Hickman for the out. And now 2 gone in the third inning. Here comes Jacoby Tacchini, who's 0 for 1 in the contest. Tacchini flew out to left field in his first at-bat. And quick conversation between Martindale and the pitcher Schreck before Schreck heads back out to the rubber. All right, Tacchini getting ready to settle in now for the Falcons. Trying to start a little bit of a 2-out rally, get his team on the board, the bottom of the third inning. Here's the pitch. Misses well outside. It's Schreck who tried to go off speed, didn't break enough. The count is 1-0. Tacchini has started every game for the Falcons, a handful as a designated hitter, but of course here in Anchorage has started every game behind the dish. The 1-0 is fouled back. Count is 1-1 to Jacoby after that foul ball. Colin Tacchini, his cousin and the starting pitcher, would be due up next. Taking a look at yesterday for Tacchini in the tie, he was 1 for 4. Here he sends a ground ball to third. Fournier sets his feet, fires to first. It short hops Hickman, but he picks it out of the turf for the out. Falcons down in order in the third inning. They trail 1-0 as we go to the top half of the fourth next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars. There are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
Getting set for the top of the fourth inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com as we get ready for the fourth inning. Check the line score here for both teams. Service has scored 1 run on 4 hits. They've committed no errors. The Klamath Falls Falcons, no runs on 1 hit. They've also committed no errors. Due up this half for Service is going to be Riker Schreck, Takumi Kosaka, and Kyler Jensen. That's 6, 7, and 8. In the order for Service. First pitch is going to miss low. The count is 1-0. Take a moment now to introduce our umpires. Going around the diamond behind home plate is James Taylor. Shane Kelly over at first. Lucito Munoz is at second base. Paul Brotherton is at third base. Umpire all around the diamond here in the semifinal of the Alaska 529 Midseason Classic in Anchorage. A combined 126 years of experience in our umpiring crew today as Safford plays a 2-hopper over there at third. Throw on to first is in time, and that will be the first out in the fourth inning. That'll bring up Takumi Kosaka, who is 0 for 1 today. Kosaka grounded out to short back in the second inning. Like I said, I haven't been able to see Kosaka a lot this season. He's only taken 6 at-bats on the year. As he takes a pitch low and away there, the count is 1-0. Was talking about Service and the fact that they are the defending Alaska state champions. They are on quite a run. Their last 48 American Legion baseball games, they're 38-10 overall. As swing and a miss on the inside fastball, 1-1 to Kosaka. Well, even in the high school season, a formidable opponent. Service made the state championship game in the Division I tournament. They started with a 5-0 win against Juneau. Then they defeated Eagle River 6-2. They did wind up losing in the championship game to Sitka 7-0, but still making it there is quite the feat, no doubt about that. The count is 2-2 to Takumi Kosaka as Colin Takini delivers the pitch. Misses upstairs. And talk about the high school season specifically, because here in Alaska, they're very strict with the Legion lines. You play where you went to school. There would be no team like the Klamath Falls Falcons in the Anchorage areas. The 3-2 is swung on and missed upstairs. That's the second out in the fourth inning. It'll bring up Kyler Jensen. Whereas we can draw from Henley and Klamath Union and Lakeview and Bonanza, those are the 4 schools that make up our team, you can only take from your own school here in Anchorage. Now, the Kenai team, who Falcons tied with yesterday, was able to draw from a handful of different schools in the area, but here in the Metropolitan of Anchorage, it's just a little bit different, as the first pitch to Jensen was swung on and missed. The count is now 0-1. Takini readies. It's the 0-1, another curveball, swung on and missed, and Jensen behind 0-2, although he did single in the second inning, so he's 1 for 1 today. Takini looking in, has the sign, and delivers from the windup. It's a slider that misses outside. Count is now 2 strikes. After Jensen, in the order is Palmer Dalton, the number 9 hitter for Service. The 1-2. Fastball just misses outside. The count is even now to Jensen. It's a good firm fastball, trying to get Jensen to chase. But now Takini even in the count. Still has a pitch to play with. Doesn't have to go straight in the middle of the zone against Jensen. But here it comes. The 2-2 is going to be weakly hit out to short. Shively up with it. Throw on to Hamilton at first, and that'll do it in the top of the fourth inning. The Cougars down in order, and we will go to the bottom half next. A 1-0 ball game. Service leads Klamath Falls in the Alaska 529 Midseason Classic semifinal on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
So lonely, I just sigh and moan. Seems like I've been away forever, wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face, I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place home. And then I heard your voice. I know you're coming home. I know you're coming home.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coltwell Banker, where home begins.
Bottom of the fourth inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on MyBasin.com. It'll be Colin Takini, PJ Safford, and Carson Sims do up this half for the Falcons. That's 4, 5, and 6 in the order. They trail 1-0 against the Service Cougars in the Alaska 529 Midseason Classic semifinal. Takini 0 for 1 in the contest. Take you back, though, to when the Falcons played Chugiak He had 2 RBIs in a 1-for-4 contest. Here he grounds one over to shortstop. Maselli up with it. Throw on to first is in time. 1 pitch and 1 gone in the 4th inning. Bring up P.J. Safford, who's 0 for 1 in the game for the Falcons. He flew out back in the 2nd inning. Safford yesterday was 1 for 3 in the Falcons' tie. He singled in the 4th inning of that contest as the pitch on the way from Schreck misses down and in. Count is 1-0. After Safford in the order is Carson Sims. The winner of this game will advance to play Madisonville, Kentucky, as they won their semifinal against Kenai a little while ago. As Safford rolls a ground ball out towards second, Dalton is up with it, and his throw to first is in time. And now there are 2 away in the inning, and it will bring up Carson Sims. Sims 1 for 1 in the game. He singled back in the 2nd. And he was left stranded in that inning. Looking for better luck here with 2 away in the bottom of the 4th. Here's the pitch to Sims. It's a line drive, left center field, and a base hit. Well, there you go. That's the start to getting around and scoring a run. It's by getting on base to start. Sims with the Falcons' 3rd base hit of the day. And we'll bring up Corbin Hamilton. Hamilton also 1 for 1 in the contest. He singled back in the 2nd inning as well. Batting from the right side as Schreck comes set with the pitch. Here it is. It's going to miss low and in the turf. The count is 1-0 to Hamilton. Ryan Glidden is on deck for the Falcons, hoping for an opportunity with a couple of runners on, even with 2 outs. Falcons needing a rally down by a run in the 4th. 1-0 pitch. Here it comes. That is going to get away from the catcher. It looked like a pitch in the dirt. Now the count is 2-0, and Sims advancing to second. So a single here from Hamilton could get that first run across the board. Hamilton's in a 2-0 count. Good opportunity to see a pitch he may like. Bat .358 on the season. Hamilton has 20 RBI. Here's the pitch to Corbin. The 2-0 is going to miss also in the dirt. 3-0. Yesterday, Hamilton was 3 for 4 with 2 RBI. Had 3 singles in the tie with Kenai. Again, it was a 4-4 tie with the Twins, who were eliminated by Madisonville earlier today. The 3-0 pitch to Corbin is taken on the outside corner for a strike. The count is 3-1. Going back even further in the tournament, Hamilton has been very good for the Falcons. Second in the whole tournament in RBI. He's got 5, and he's got the 6th out there waiting for him. The 3-1 will also miss outside. He'll have to wait for now, as a walk will put him on base for Ryan Glidden. Glidden was hit by a pitch in his first at-bat. And before we get to see his at-bat, Coach Paul up and out of the dugout. Let's see if any movement's going to be made for service here in this inning, although Schreck is thrown well now into his 2nd inning of work. Gave up a base hit to Sims with 2 outs, and of course he walked Hamilton, but before that had retired the first 5 batters that he faced coming in relief. And so trying to get out of the 2nd inning without allowing that run, but Glidden's going to try to stop him with Ryan Douglas waiting next on deck. Season doesn't stop here, of course, for the Falcons. A travel day tomorrow, and then they're back at home at Cougars Stadium on the 1st of July. Hope to see some fans come on out to Cougars Stadium and celebrate what has been a good week in Alaska for the Falcons. Tournament winners at the Todd Ryan Memorial Tournament in Wasilla, and here battling for a spot in the championship game against Service. First pitch on the way to Glidden is an off-speed pitch looped in there for a strike. Glidden falls behind 0-1. Set is Schreck and delivers the 0-1 to Glidden. That one misses low. The count is even at a ball and a strike. Glidden hasn't had a ton of opportunity in this tournament to swing the bat. In fact, I believe this is his first start here in Anchorage. Of course, he's gotten plenty of time around the base paths, scoring those runs, as I said. It's the 1-1 pitch to Glidden is a one-hopper out to second, and the second baseman, Dalton, will toss onto the shortstop for the out, and that will end the inning. Falcons get a man in scoring position, but they can't get him across. They trail 1-0. Go to the fifth next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Time to reclaim your health and your autonomy. At Heartfelt OBGYN, they focus on you. Their evidence-based approach to care means fewer office visits and a targeted treatment plan to directly address your specific needs. They believe in solutions for their patients, not the industry's profit margin. The providers at Heartfelt OBGYN are committed to serving the community and giving back to the basin. Find them at heartfeltobgyn.com. Heartfelt, because you deserve to be in control of your body and your informed choices.
At Eisler Group, they are confident that their tax and accounting professionals are experienced and trained like no one else. From individual, corporate, partnership, estate, trust, Eisler Group stands ready to help you with all of your financial, tax, and accounting needs. They have been in Klamath Falls for nearly 60 years, raising their families here and being part of the community. The Eisler Group can be found at eislerkf.com. That's ISLERKF.com. eislerkf.com.
Set for the top of the fifth inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports, and on mybasin.com. It'll be 9-1-2 to up this inning for the Service Cougars as they lead the Klamath Falls Falcons 1-0. Palmer Dalton, Chase Maselli, and Sebastian Fournier. Colin Takini still out there on the mound for the Falcons. Here's the first pitch. It's a line drive into left field and a base hit. We'll get Palmer Dalton on base. Second time he's reached base today. He did walk in his first at-bat. Now reaches on a leadoff single. First leadoff single of the game for the Cougars. And it will bring up Chase Maselli. 0 for 2 today is Maselli. He's grounded out and flown out so far in the ball game. As Colin Takini checks the runner at first before coming set. Safford, the third baseman, in, protecting bunt, and that's exactly what Maselli's going to do. Bunt down the third base line. Safford up with it, throws a dart to first, but he's safe. And Maselli beats out the infield single, moving Dalton to second and bringing up Sebastian Fournier with 2 on now and nobody out. Sebastian Fournier singled in the first, and he struck out in the third. And a chance to add Service's first run of the game since the first inning. They lead 1-0, looking for some insurance here. Fournier, right-handed batter, waits for Takini to come set. Corners still protecting bunt, and that's what Fournier looks to do as he lays down a bunt foul. The count is 0-1. I don't know, maybe Fournier didn't make contact with it. Either way, he didn't pull back the bunt in time, so home plate umpire called a strike. James Taylor back there. Like I said, 126 years of experience around the base paths today. James Taylor in his 32nd season as an umpire here in the state of Alaska. Bunt laid down the first base side. Hamilton is up with it. It's Max Price who's there to cover the first base bag and record the out. But Dalton advances to third and Maselli goes to second. So now there will be 2 men in scoring position for Owen Hickman. Sacrifice bunt there for Fournier. And Hickman is 2 for 2 today. Couple of singles in the first and third innings. Takini looking in and comes set. Big lead off of second for Maselli. The pitch home is a line drive foul down the right side. Count is 0-1. And after Hickman, it's Landon Martindale in the order for the Cougars. Like I said, Hickman has singled twice today. He is the team's leading hitter, up over 450 now on the season. As that pitch misses upstairs, the count is 1-1. has a significant lead on the team in hits. He's got 16 hits on the season. That doubles up who's next best, which would be Fournier and Maselli, who both have 8. It's the 1-1 pitch on the way from Tacchini is hit in the air in the infield. Playable on the right side. Corbin Hamilton calls everybody off and makes the catch for the second out in the 5th inning. And now the cleanup hitter, Landon Martindale, due up for the Cougars. Martindale 0 for 2 today, but does have an RBI. Martindale grounded out in the first, but knocked in a run in that inning, otherwise flew out to left field. Here he bats with 2 men in scoring position. 2 outs in the top of the 5th inning. Batting from the left side, Tacchini comes set. Jacoby gives the target outside to the lefty, and the pitch is a looping curveball that drops in for a strike. Count is 0-1. Tacchini breaking off that pitch to get ahead of Martindale. Keegan Lennox is on deck for the Cougars. Pitch on the way. Here it comes. Upstairs fastball goes with a 2-seamer to get a swing and a miss from Martindale, and the count is 0-2. Big pitch coming up for Tacchini after getting or allowing back-to-back leadoff singles. Chance to leave them both stranded out there. Tacchini delivers the 0-2 to Martindale, misses outside with the fastball, and that'll make the count a ball and 2 strikes. Martindale with 4 RBI on the season. Big lead off of second for Maselli, almost where the shortstop is playing. And the 1-2 home, a curveball is hit foul down the first base side. Count remains a ball and 2 strikes. Again, after those 2 singles to lead off the inning, it was a sacrifice to move them both into scoring position in that infield fly ball from Hickman for the second out. Big pitch coming up. Here's the 1-2. Again to Martindale. Tacchini kicks and fires. Ground ball up the middle, through and into center field. That's going to score Dalton. They're waving in Maselli. And the ball will get underneath the glove of Sims into center, but he recovers in time to throw out Martindale, trying to stretch it into a double. So you record the third out on that play, but now trail 3-0 going to the bottom of the 5th inning. Due up for the Falcons will be Douglas, Price, and Shively when we come back on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool.
On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great. Participate.
Set for the bottom of the fifth inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com. The Klamath Falls Falcons trail the Service Cougars 3-0 in the semifinal of the Alaska 529 Midseason Classic. It'll be Douglas, Price, and Shively due up in this half inning. 9-1 and 2. As Service scored 2 runs in the top half of the inning on 3 base hits. Now the Falcons are going to try to respond here. Douglas looking to lead things off. Going back to yesterday for Ryan Douglas. He got the start on the mound but wasn't able to take any at-bats in that contest. But the day before in the win against Chugiak, Douglas again was without a base hit but reached base 3 times, including a run score. There he lifts one in the air to second, and that'll be the first out as it was caught by Dalton running backwards towards the right fielder. Well, now brings up Max Price for Klamath Falls. He's 0 for 2 in this contest. Now, Price was 2 for 4 in the tie yesterday against Kenai. He singled and scored in the third inning of that contest. Singled was left stranded in the fifth. Here he takes strike one. Next pitch to Price is hit foul. Count now 0-2 to the second baseman for the Falcons. Still on the mound out there is Riker Schreck. No, new pitcher out there actually for Service. It's going to be number 61. That's Hunter Christian. Ground ball out towards short. Maselli, another diving stop. A throw on to first. Takes the first baseman Hickman off the bag. And Price will reach on the infield single. Yes, that was Price. Now Shively will have a chance to bat with a runner on and 1 out. Shively still looking for his first hit in the contest. It'll be the first time that he'll be taking a look at Christian in the game. It's a line drive over the head of the shortstop and down into left field, and back-to-back 1-out singles for the Falcons. That'll bring the tying run to the plate in the person of Jacoby Takini. Takini also 0 for 2 in the contest, but so far this inning, things have been changing for guys who are 0 for 2 with both Price and Shively picking up singles. Martindale has a talk for a moment with Hunter Christian, the new arm in there for Service. We'll take a look at Christian now on the season if we have a moment. Well, again, a guy who hasn't thrown at all this season for Service. No innings pitched for him. He's getting his first dose of action on the hill in the semifinal. Comes set and delivers the pitch to Takini, which will miss in the turf low. The count is 1-0. After Jacoby, it's Colin Takini in the order. Jacoby flew out to left field in the first, grounded out to third in the third inning. Set is Christian. Big lead off is second for Price. The shortstop, Maselli, thought about back picking him, but then the pitch misses upstairs to Takini. The count is 2-0. First baseman playing in front of the runner at first, Shively. Looked like he may be protecting bunt against Takini, but the third baseman playing back. 2-0 on the way. Fly ball towards second base, down in right field, and that is going to load the bases. They hold Price at third. Shively advances to second, and an opposite field base hit for Takini. 3 consecutive 1-out base hits for the Falcons, and Colin Takini, the cleanup hitter, looking to do just that in the bottom of the fifth inning. Takini was 1 for 3 yesterday with a single in the second inning. Had 2 RBI in the game against Chugiak back on Friday. But here a conversation between Coach Paul and his pitcher out there, Hunter Christian. Like I said, Coach Paul the other day, actually this is yesterday, picking up his 240th win in Alaska Legion baseball. Puts him at 5th most all time. You'll also see Coach Paul in the record books here at the Alaska 529 Midseason Classic. Holds the record for the best tournament-long batting average of .889. That was back in 2007. And it won him the Big Stick Award that year, going, of course, to the best offensive player of the tournament. He heads back to the dugout, leaves his pitcher to deal with Colin Takini with the bases loaded and 1 out. Tying run on base. Here's the pitch to Takini. It'll miss upstairs. The count is 1-0. Also, by the way, Chase Barrett into the game to run for Jacoby Takini over there at first. So it's Barrett at first, Shively at second, and Price at third. And a 1-0 count to Colin Takini at the plate. Set is Christian, and the pitch swung on and missed by Takini. The count is even now to ball and a strike. On deck is P.J. Safford for the Falcons. Calling 0 for 2 in this contest, but as I said earlier, things are changing the third time through the order for the Falcons. The 1-1 pitch. Christian comes set with it, checks the runner at second before delivering home. That pitch misses inside to Colin. The count 2 balls and a strike now. Colin, the starting pitcher, gave up 2 runs in the top half of this inning, at least looking to get those back, and he could do it with a base hit here, but all around, lots of speed on the bases here for the Falcons. The 2-1 pitch. Takini hits it in the air towards shallow right field. Could be a tough one to get to, and the right fielder, Jensen, can't squeeze it. Was in and out of his glove, and everyone advances, and everyone is safe. Price scores from third. Shively goes to third. Barrett on at second, and Colin Takini reaching on the air. Bring up P.J. Safford. Still with the bases loaded and the Falcons on the board. Still trailing 3-1. But now the go-ahead run is on base. Safford flew out in the second. Grounded out in the fourth. And a big spot here for the Falcons' third baseman. So far this season, Safford batting .275. And the first pitch is a fastball on the outside corner, in there for a strike. 0-1. Safford's 18 RBI this season. Hoping to add a big couple of them here in the semifinal of the 529 Midseason Classic. Falcons trying to become only the second Oregonian team to ever make the title game. Safford calls time at the plate before the 0-1 pitch. After PJ in the order, it's Carson Sims. Colin Takini at first, Chase Barrett at second, Connor Shively aboard at third. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Safford, takes it. Maybe thought it was a bit upstairs, but it was over the heart of the plate. The count is 0-2 as Christian gets ahead of Safford here. The shortstop, Michelli, playing over near the second base bag. A big gap on the left side of the infield as the third baseman Fournier is playing third base pretty much straight away. Here's the pitch. Safford pops that one the opposite way foul. Count remains 0-2. PJ typically does hit it right back up the middle. But if he can get out in front of a pitch, again, like I said, big gap on the left side of the infield there. Outfield also shaded a little bit towards the opposite way. Center fielder playing well to the right of second base as Safford has a roller out to the mound. The pitcher fields it cleanly. Christian will apply the tag to Safford, but a run does come in to score on the play. So credit PJ with the RBI there on the putout. The uncharacteristic one unassisted in the book. But an RBI for PJ will bring up Carson Sims with 2 men in scoring position and 2 out. Tying run at third. Sims is 2 for 2 today with a couple of singles. First pitch to Carson. He'll take it for a strike. The count is 0-1. Colin Takini's at second. Chase Barrett is at third. Christian looking in. Comes set, takes a look at the runner at second. That's Colin. And the 0-1 pitch home is rattled foul behind home plate. Count now 0-2 to Sims. He's been one of the Falcons' better hitters in this tournament. 3 for 9 in the tournament. Well, now he's 5 for 11 with 2 runs and 2 RBIs. The 0-2 pitch to Sims is going to drill him square in the back, so he will take first and load him up for Corbin Hamilton. Hamilton 1 for 1 in this game. He walked in the second. Pardon me. He singled in the second and walked in the fourth. Hamilton 5 for 9 in the tournament. Waits the first pitch. It misses high. The count is 0-1. Like I said, his 5 RBI, second most in the whole tournament thus far. Only second to Chugiak's Tyler Cage, who had 6 RBIs as Chugiak finished their tournament earlier with a 5th place finish. The 1-0 to Hamilton. He swings and misses at a high fastball. And the count is 1-1. On deck is Ryan Glidden for the Falcons if Hamilton can find a way to get on base. The 1-1 pitch. Hamilton takes that one inside, maybe a little bit low as well. The count 2 balls and a strike to Corbin. As Christian looks in, comes set quickly after stepping on the rubber. The 2-1 pitch. Hamilton pops that one up. Right side in foul territory, but that one winds up drifting foul over the Falcons' dugout. So the count is even. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The bases loaded in a 3-2 ball game. Sims on first, Takini at second, Barrett on third. A chance to tie the game or take the lead for Corbin Hamilton. Here's the 2-2 from Christian. Hamilton fouls it off, staying alive. Count remains 2-2. Talked about what Corbin's been able to do this tournament on the season, hitting .358, 20 RBI for him on the year. The 2-2 again. Hamilton, a ground ball back up the middle. The shortstop, Maselli, up with it. No one's there to cover second. Hamilton beats out the throw to first, and we have a tie ball game. Reaching on the infield single as Barrett came in to score. Colin Takini advances to third. Carson Sims to second. It was a ground ball to Maselli, and he tried to throw it to second, but Dalton wasn't there to cover the bag. And by the time he decided to throw to first, it was too late. Hamilton beating it out and adding an RBI, tying the ball game. First pitch to Hunter Glidden, misses high. The count is 1-0. Defensive miscue costing service there. The 1-0 on the way. Glidden takes that pitch inside. It's 2-0. Glidden's the 9th batter to hit this inning for the Falcons, and he's 0 for 1 today. He was hit by a pitch in the second inning, and he grounded into a fielder's choice in the fourth. That would end that inning. Chance to take the lead for his team here. Pitch on the way to Glidden. Taken for a strike on the inside. Count is 2-1. Pitch right below the belt for Glidden. But now he's seen the strike as Christian comes set. Pitch on the way. Glidden takes a look at that one in the turf. The count 3-1. On deck would be Ryan Douglas. He started this inning, although he flew out. 3 straight singles for the Falcons have put them in good position to then score 3 runs. All those guys have come across the score. Glidden ground ball up the middle. Maselli takes it to the second base bag himself this time, and that will end the inning. But the Falcons tie us at 3 on 4 base hits, and they leave 2 stranded. We'll be back as we go to the top of the 6th in a brand new ball game on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 120,000 participants here in Oregon who take part in high school sports or activities.
At mybasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
The pace and reach of social media,
The information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
mybasin.com is your go-to place for news,
Sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
Top of the sixth inning, and we are tied 3-3 in the Alaska 529 Midseason Classic semifinal. The Falcons taking on the Service Cougars. Due up this half inning for Service is Keegan Lennox. He'll wear the first pitch of the inning and get on base. Brings up Riker Schreck with the runner on and nobody out. Colin looking to hold on to this tie that, well, he was a big contributor of in the last inning. Was able to keep the inning going after reaching on an error. He was stranded at third in that inning, but was part of a inning where the Falcons bat around and scored 3 runs. Here's a fly ball into center field. Sims moving over, makes the catch, and there's one away in the 6th. Brings up Takumi Kosaka, who's 0 for 2 today. He's grounded out and struck out his first 2 times around. After Kosaka, it's Kyler Jensen in the order for Service. Move over to first, but back safely is the runner Lennox. Takini set with the first pitch to Kosaka. Here it comes. It's hit in the air, right side, well foul. The count is 0-1. Service here by virtue of going 2-1 in group play. They defeated Diamond 11-0. Madisonville, they lost that game 8-4. And they defeated West Anchorage 5-4 yesterday. Runner on the move. Lennox is trying to steal second, but a good throw from Takini got him. Nice throw from Jacoby behind the plate to cut down the runner trying to swipe second. Now 2 away in the inning. Count is still 0-1 to Kosaka. Pitch on the way from Colin. It's a slider in there for a strike, 0-2. Takini back on the rubber, working now out of the windup. Here's the pitch. This one is hit in the air, shallow left field. Could be trouble. It will get down for a base hit. 2-out knock for Kosaka, his first of the ball game, and that one brings up Kyler Jensen. He's 1 for 2 today. Singled in the 2nd, grounded out in the 4th. 2 away in the inning after Lennox was hit by a pitch. He was cut down stealing, and then Schreck flew out to center. There's Kosaka standing on first after the 2-out single. Move over to first, and back safely is the runner at first, Kosaka. It was a good pickoff move by Takini. Located the ball well on the pickoff move, but Kosaka was able to get back safely. Still waiting for the first pitch to Jensen as Takini comes set. Here's the pitch. Pitch misses upstairs. The count is 1-0. Kosaka made a motion like he was going to be on the move, but after breaking into a sprint for about a step and a half, he decided to stay put. Maybe trying to get Takini to react for a bit. Kosaka still an aggressive lead off of first. The 1-0 pitch is taken for a ball high. The count is 2-0. On deck after Jensen is Palmer Dalton. Colin looks in, checks the runner at first before coming set. Another move over to first, but back safely is going to be Kosaka. And Takini gets the ball back, ready for the 2-0. Right-handed batter Jensen rests the bat on his shoulders before stepping in. Here's the 2-0 from Takini. That one misses low and in as well. The count is 3-0. Second baseman Price, a little bit over towards the second base bag, and with Hamilton holding the runner. Big gap on the right side of the infield, but it won't matter. In a 3-0 count, Takini fires in ball 4, allowing Kosaka to advance to second. Jensen now aboard at first, and here's Palmer Dalton. Dalton has walked and singled so far in the ballgame, and the go-ahead run is at second in the top of the 6th. Game number 2 the championship game scheduled to start at 7:30 here in Anchorage, which will be 8:30 back in the Basin. Falcons trying to get there for their first time ever. Pitch on the way to Dalton. Big aggressive lead for Kosaka off of second. They nearly got him as Price was there to cover the bag. But Kosaka still a pretty sizable lead off that second base bag. Price is going back over there trying to hold him. Pitch on the way from Takini, misses high. They go to backdoor the runner at first, but the throw down to Hamilton winds up down the right field line. That's going to allow Kosaka to advance to third. Not a bad idea. They might have had him had Hamilton received the ball cleanly. But instead, runners will now be at the corners. 1-0. It'd be a throwing error, so goes against Takini in that instance, but it's the right idea and couldn't execute it cleanly, unfortunately. And this will cause Coach Craig Connor to come on out of the dugout and have a quick chat with his pitcher, Colin Takini. 3-3 our score, and the go-ahead run is at third in the top of the 6th inning of this semifinal. Want to remind you today's broadcast, as every broadcast from Alaska, has been brought to you by Heartfelt, OBGYN in Klamath Falls, and the Eisler Group. Appreciate those folks for stepping up and sponsoring our broadcasts here on the road in Alaska and along with us for the rest of the summer. Like I said, the season continues on Tuesday for the Falcons as they host the Grants Pass Diggers for an area doubleheader, which is set to begin at 4:30 at Cougars Stadium. All right. Conference on the mound is over. Jacoby Takini issuing signs to his infield in this runners at the corners and 2 outs situation. We'll see if they get Jensen on the move at all. And a 1-0 count to Palmer Dalton. Pitch on the way from Takini. It's a curveball or a slider. The count 1-1. Now to Dalton. Nice find on the outside corner there for Takini. It's the next pitch on its way. 1-1. Another slider. That time just misses the outside. The count is 2-1. Kosaka taking an aggressive lead at third after the pitch is thrown. Takini comes set, and the pitch will miss inside. The count is 3-1. Don't know if Kosaka's making an impact with Takini out there, but he is in the peripheral vision of the pitcher for Klamath Falls and kind of stutter steps and just trying to be a nuisance out there, I think. Here's the 3-1 pitch. It's a curveball that's hit foul the opposite way. The count is 3-2. That's part of the mental game of baseball. He's trying to not pay attention to a guy like Kosaka who's clearly trying to distract you over there at third. Runner at first is Jensen. He has a fairly sizable lead as well, but Takini ready for the 3-2 pitch. They throw over to first. Hamilton has the ball. They have the runner at third caught in a rundown, and in fact, as he scampers on back to third, the runner from first goes back to first. So get a good idea by the Falcons, and they execute that nicely. Good job by Hamilton to realize the situation, not get tunnel vision on the runner at first, pay attention to the guy who's over there at third, and eventually everyone just stays put. Runners remain at the corner in a 3-2 count. Takini comes set, another move over to first. They're going to do it again. Hamilton has it. Throw a pump fake to second. Now they have thrown over it to Safford. They got the runner caught in a run down at third. Shively covers the bag at third, and he slides in underneath the tag. Advancing to second was Jensen. Falcons ran that about as well as you could with Shively covering the third base bag, but a good slide by Kosaka got him back safely in at third. And like I said, Jensen advances to second, so trying to do what they can here to get out of this inning, but now you just have to go right after the hitter at the plate in Palmer Dalton. Takini steps off. We'll see if he decides to throw out of the windup here with the runner on third, or if, because he's gotten this far in this at-bat out of the stretch, if he decides to stay there. Jacoby Takini goes out and has a chat with Colin for just a moment. And now is back on the rubber. Looks like he's opting to throw from the stretch. Takini comes together. First base is open now in a 3-2 count. Here's the pitch. It misses upstairs, and they walk him to load the bases. Back at the top of the order for Chase Maselli. Maselli 1 for 3 today. He grounded out in the first, flew out in the second, reached on a single, and scored in the fifth. Big-time spot here in the top of the sixth inning of this semifinal with a championship game against Madisonville from Kentucky on the line. Colin comes set, and the pitch. A curveball dropped in for a strike. Count is 0-1. Maselli here in this tournament is 4 for 11 and has 7 actually runs scored. Here he sends a bouncer down the first base side. Hamilton fields it cleanly. He wins the foot race to the bag, and that will end the inning. The Falcons are able to get out of a bases-loaded jam in the top of the sixth inning and keep this one tied at 3 going to the bottom half next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
We drive play an important part of our everyday. Whether we're going to work, dropping off the kids at school, or maybe even on that first date. Vehicles we drive play an important role in all of that. And that's why at Klamath Subaru, we are so passionate about getting you the long-lasting vehicle that you will love. When you come to our store, you'll find that every department is dedicated to caring for our customers, which is why I can proudly send anyone here knowing that they will be treated like family. Stop by and say hi. When you come to Klamath Subaru, you're coming home.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see two things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys, and I want to see my high school. And those are the two memories that stick out the most to me.
Getting set in the bottom of the sixth inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports in the semifinal of the Alaska 529 Midseason Classic. And we got a new pitcher out there for service. Was trying to listen to what the number was. Looks like it's number 18, Noah Cummings, out there on the hill for service. Kind of keeping everyone in the loop, not letting one guy go too long and rack up the pitch counts. So we'll take a look at Hunter Cummings here in just a moment, as he'll have to go through Douglas, Price, and Shively. That's 9-1-2 for the Falcons this half inning. It's the same guys who started the last half inning, in which the Falcons tied the game, scoring all 3 of their runs in the bottom of the 5th. For Service, they scored 1 in the first, added 2 in the 5th. The first pitch is on the way to Ryan Douglas. It's a hard ground ball to short, backhanded at short by Maselli. Throw on to first, takes the first baseman off the bag, and he collides with Douglas. That's going to mean Douglas reaches safe at first after the throw was over the head of the first baseman. It was a pretty nasty collision. Douglas popped up, though, pretty quickly. He seems to be okay. And an infield single there for Ryan Douglas. We'll see if they wind up scoring that as single or whether that goes in as an error. It looks like they scored it an error there. Would have been a close play, but it was the throw that took him off the bag. So with a runner on first, here's Max Price. Price singled in the 5th inning. He also came around to score in that inning. Otherwise, he's flown out twice so far. As Cummings comes set and delivers the pitch, it's going to get by the catcher Martindale and roll to the backstop. And that will allow Douglas to advance to second. The go-ahead run in scoring position for the Falcons in the bottom of the 6th inning against Noah Cummings. Noah on the season so far for Service is making his 4th overall appearance. Might have to wait for a second as Price lays a bunt down the third base line that no one was there to get. It was a hit and run. Douglas was stealing third, causing the third baseman Fournier to cover the bag. Price laid the bunt down the third base line, and no one was there to come up with it. And so an infield single for Price puts runners at the corners now with nobody away. And now it's going to be a conversation with Service out there on the pitcher's mound. Great aggressive base running by the Falcons, something that they've done well all season long and paying off there. A risky play, stealing third with nobody out, going for a hit and run, and paying off for the Falcons. And now they're going to have to see what to do with Connor Shively at the plate. Shively, the team's leading hitter. He's 1 for 3 today. Coach Teeters having a conversation with the man on base, the man on deck, Takini, and the batter, Shively. Now everybody disperses. Noah Cummings stays in the game for Service. The infield goes back to their normal spots, and with the go-ahead run 90 feet away in the bottom of the 6th inning, that run is dire for Service. Due up for them in the next half inning, if you're curious, is 2, 3, 4 in the order. As the infield comes in for the Cougars. First pitch to Shively is going to be in the turf, 1-0. Shively not only the team's leading hitter, but the team's RBI leader as well. Shively in the tie yesterday had the big RBI on a single in the 7th inning. Runner on the move on a strike at the plate. Max Price takes second without a throw down. And so now could be looking at some insurance if Shively finds some green in the outfield. The 1-1 pitch on the way from Cummings is going to be taken in the turf. Gets behind the catcher. Breaking for the plate is Douglas, and he scores. And a pass ball will get the go-ahead run across for the Falcons. They lead 4-3. Runner also advances to third. It's Max Price. Still a job to do for Shively at the plate with one more out there waiting for him. And again, aggressive base running paying off for the Falcons. Douglas reached on an error. Advanced on the hit and run as Shively pops it up into shallow left. It's actually going to be fielded by the third baseman Fournier out on the cut of the grass for the first out in the inning. In steps Jacoby Takini, who is 1 for 3 today. He was out on a fly out in the first, a ground out in the third, and he singled in the big 5th inning for the Falcons. Scored 3 of their now 4 runs in that frame and have taken the lead here in the 6th. Infield still in for Service, and the pitch to Takini is going to miss low. The count is 1-0. Look at the numbers for Jacoby on the season. 254 batting, 20 RBI for him. The pitch is a fastball on the outer third in there for a strike. The count is 1-1. After Jacoby in the order, it's Colin Takini. Yesterday, Jacoby was 1 for 4 in the tie against Kenai. Had an RBI in the win against Chugiak the day before. A slow roller to second base. Dalton is going to underhand toss to first for the out, but a run comes in to score as Price touches home. And the Falcons lead 5-3, and the bases are empty with 2 outs in the inning, bringing up Colin Takini. Credit Jacoby with the RBI there, and here's Colin, who is 0 for 3 today, grounded out to short twice and reached on an error in the 5th. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. The count is 0-1. Falcons doing a great job of manufacturing those 2 runs. Douglas reaching on the air, advancing around with aggressive base running. Price doing the same after the single on the infield. And here is a sharp line drive to third, gloved at the hot corner by Fournier to end the inning. But like I said, the Falcons have taken a 5-3 lead. And they'll hope to close it out in the top of the 7th inning next in the Alaska 529 Midseason Classic semifinal on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Pacific Power works day in and day out to power our communities because we know our neighbors rely on us. We're trimming and clearing branches around poles and lines, protecting our system, and giving you real-time updates when storms roll in. You can count on us in all seasons. 24/7, we're here for you. Powering your greatness.
It's the top of the 7th inning, and the Klamath Falls Falcons looking to close things out against the Service Cougars. New pitcher on the mound for the Falcons is going to be Corbin Hamilton. Ian Meyer comes into the game at first, and we'll get any other changes for you as it looks like Colin Takini is going to stay in the game at second. Which means Max Price is more than likely moved to the outfield. We'll confirm that for sure in a second as Corbin Hamilton looks to pick up the save in this semifinal. Grab you the rest of the defensive changes for the Falcons here in just a second. The first task in relief for Corbin is going to be Sebastian Fournier. And then it'll go Owen Hickman and then Landon Martindale. So looks like, well, we'll finish up the changes once I get them finalized to me. I think we might have just seen Price get pushed out to right, or maybe that's Carson Pimley out there with Price now in center, which looks like it could be the case as well. We'll see for sure in a moment. As a pitch from Hamilton called a strike, the count is 0-1 to Sebastian Fournier, who's 1 for 2 today. Singled in the first, struck out in the third, and had a sacrifice bunt laid down in the 5th inning. He takes ball 1 below the knees. The count is even. Pitch on the way is called a strike. Count is 0-2 to Sebastian Fournier. Going to date with Madisonville. Comes up next, to the same team that the Falcons defeated in the Todd Ryan Memorial Tournament Championship game in Wasilla. They still need 3 outs to get there. A check swing is going to be held up in time by Fournier. The count is 2-2. So it is Price who has moved over to right. Sims stays in center for the Falcons. Myers, the new addition to the game, replacing Ryan Glidden. Fly ball to the right side, foul. And the count is 2-2. Hamilton delivers the 2-2. Curveball swung on and missed. Big first out there against Fournier. Second time he's been down on strikes in this ball game. Now the Falcons just 2 outs away from moving on to the 5-2-9 title game. Brings up Owen Hickman, who's 2 for 3 today. Hickman singled in the first and third innings and flew out in the fifth. First pitch to him misses. The count is 1-0. After Hickman, it's Landon Martindale. It's that pitch down Main Street. The fastball, Hamilton uses it to get back even. The count 1-1. Hamilton works quickly out there, already ready to go out of the windup. The 1-1 pitch is a slider that, yes, he did go around. Hickman checked his swing, but not in time. Thought it might have been a strike anyway, but had to defer, and the count is a ball and 2 strikes from Hamilton. Here's the delivery. Kicks, fires, slider misses outside, 2-2. Hamilton back, ready to go out of the windup. Steps, kicks, delivers the 2-2. It is looked at for ball 3, a fastball over the outside part of the plate, but below the knees to Hickman. And the count is full to the first baseman for service. Here's the pitch. That one misses outside and will be a walk. And so Hickman is aboard for the third time today, and it brings up Landon Martindale. Martindale representing the tying run at the plate in the top of the 7th inning. Martindale today is 1 for 3. He singled in the 5th, had an RBI on a ground out in the 1st, and he flew out in the 3rd. Hamilton set. Here's the pitch. Curveball is going to miss inside. Must have been inside. The count is 1-0 to Martindale, the left-handed bat for service. Hamilton ready to throw the 1-0. That one's hammered to right field, and that will get down in fair territory and roll to the wall. They are waving around Hickman from third, and as he gets halfway there, they slam the brakes on him. Rounding second for third was Martindale, and they get him on the back door. Heads up play by Ian Meyer. The cutoff man throwing to second after Martindale rounded second, and they got him trying to hurry on back to the bag. So now there are 2 outs in the inning with Hickman at third, as Lennox is now the last hope. He represents the tying run for service. Here's the pitch. It's a fastball down the middle, 0-1. That out at second base could prove to be costly for service. Would have put the tying run in scoring position, but now that runner at third would only bring them within a run. They need Lennox to get into scoring position and come around himself. The 1-1. Fouled back into the glove of Tacchini, 1-2. And just like that, the Cougars are down to their final strike of the tournament. Falcons trying to be only the second team from Oregon to make the title game here in Anchorage. The 1-2 from Hamilton. We'll have to wait as that pitch misses inside, 2-2. On deck, hoping for a chance, is Riker Schreck. Hamilton working out of the windup with the runner at third. 2-2. Here it comes from Corbin. Checked the swing at the plate. Did he go? No, he did not. Count is 3-2 on the inside slider. First base is open, but again, it's the tying run at the plate. Don't want to allow him on base. The 3-2 pitch, once again from Hamilton. That one misses, so they will put the tying run on for Riker Schreck. Hickman, who stands at third, reached on a walk earlier this inning. Schreck is 0 for 3 today. Grounded out twice, has flown out once. He is the last hope for service. Top of the 7th inning. If he can find a way to get on base and extend the game, Takumi Kosaka is on deck for the Cougars. Jacoby Takini, after having a quick chat with Corbin out there on the mound, returns behind the plate, gives signs to his infield, and you can imagine that Lennox will likely be on the move here for service, trying to get him into scoring position. First pitch, he's not on the move as Hamilton misses outside. He's got to be feeling squeezed out there this inning. He's been all around the zone, but just missing on that pitch, 1-0. Here is the 1-0 pitch from Hamilton. That one was in there, knee-high on the inside corner. The count is even at a ball and a strike to Riker Schreck. Hamilton looks in, gets the sign from Tukini, who sets up the target away. The 1-1 pitch. Misses upstairs and away. The count is 2-1. Hamilton having to work hard for this final out. The 2-1. Hamilton set with it and the delivery. That one misses inside. The count is 3-1. Hamilton receives the ball back from Takini, does a couple of steps around the hill before settling on the rubber in the 3-1 count. The 3-1 pitch will miss outside. And the bases are loaded. Go ahead run on base. Hickman to third. Lennox to second. Schreck now aboard at first. And Takumi Kosaka is at the plate. Like I said, haven't had a huge sample size of him coming into the tournament, but once we got here to the 529 Midseason Classic, Kosaka has done well. Coming into this game was 3 for 5 with 2 RBI. The pitch will miss upstairs, 1-0. In this game, Kosaka is 1 for 3. He singled in the 6th, along with grounding out and striking out in previous at-bats in the 2nd and 4th innings. Pitch from Hamilton. That one finds the zone on the outside corner. Count is even now at a ball and a strike. After Kosaka, if he finds a way to extend the ball game, it's Kyler Jensen. Bases loaded. In a 2-run ball game, top of the 7th. The pitch swung on and missed. And again, service down to their final strike. They found a way to extend the game last time. Kosaka settles in. Tall in the right-handed batter's box. Hamilton working from the windup. The 1-2 is hit in the air, foul, out of play, and we'll do it again. A ball and 2 strikes as that foul ball rattles off the ceiling of the grandstand. Service dugout all up on their feet, open for something big here. A ground ball to the right side of the infield. Meyer is up with it. Underhand toss to Hamilton to first, and that is the ball game. The Klamath Falls Falcons are advancing to the Alaska 529 Midseason Classic Championship game after defeating the Service Cougars 5-3 in the semifinal. We'll be back to break it down for you coming up as we continue your coverage from Anchorage, Alaska on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com.
Pacific Power works day in and day out to power our communities because we know our neighbors rely on us. We're trimming and clearing branches around poles and lines, protecting our system, and giving you real-time updates when storms roll in. You can count on us in all seasons. 24/7, we're here for you. Powering your greatness.
The cars we drive play an important part of our everyday. Whether we're going to work, dropping off the kids at school, or maybe even on that first date. Vehicles we drive play an important role in all of that. And that's why at Klamath Falls Subaru, we are so passionate about getting you the long-lasting vehicle that you will love. When you come to our store, you'll find that every department is dedicated to caring for our customers, which is why I can proudly send anyone here knowing that they will be treated like family. Stop by and say hi. When you come to Klamath Falls Subaru, you're coming home.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see 2 things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys and I want to see my high school. And those are the two memories that stick out the most to me.
As a parent of a high school athlete, I've given up trying to get pictures of my kid playing sports. It's nearly impossible to take pictures and enjoy the game. There is a solution, though. God's Gifts Photography attends high school sporting events in the Basin to take individual and team action photos at a great price. Search God's Gifts 2 on Facebook to learn more. They'll come and capture your athlete in action, creating those frameable lifelong memories so you can watch and just enjoy the moment. Call 541-281-2206 to get your athlete on their schedule. God's Gifts Photography.
5-3 is the final, and the Klamath Falls Falcons are advancing to the Alaska 5-9 Midseason Classic Championship game after they defeat the Service Cougars here in the semifinal. 5 runs on 7 hits, 1 error for the Falcons, and they leave 6 runners on base for Service. 3 runs on 9 hits. They commit 2 errors, and they leave 11 runners on base in the contest. The winning pitcher is Colin Takini, who pitched 6 innings, giving up 8 hits, 3 runs, all of them earned. He walked 3 and struck out 2. The losing pitcher today for Service is going to be Noah Cummings, who pitched 1 inning, giving up 1 hit and 2 runs. Although none of them were earned, it was what allowed the Falcons to power ahead to victory. The save in the contest goes to Corbin Hamilton, who pitched the final 7th inning, giving up 1 hit and walking 3, but leaving the bases loaded, and the Falcons hold on for a 5-3 victory. A couple of offensive notables for the Klamath Falls Falcons. A 2-for-4 day for Max Price. 1-for-4 day for Connor Shively with a run scored. Jacoby Takini finished 1-for-4 with an RBI. PJ Safford picked up an RBI as well as Corbin Hamilton. Carson Sims was also 2-for-2 in this ball game. For Service, a 1-for-4 day for Maselli. He also scored a run. 2-for-4 day for Martindale. Had 3 RBI in the contest as Service's tournament is done, and the Falcons will take on Madisonville for the 3rd time during their stay in Alaska. Stick with us as we get ready for the championship game. For those of you watching on mybasin.com, we'll end this live stream. Encourage you to refresh the page on mybasin.com, the Falcons homepage, and we'll have the new live stream link up for you in just a few minutes. For those of you listening on the radio on 104.3 and 960 Sports, we will be back in just a little while. We'll return you to Fox Sports radio programming in the meantime, and back in just a bit. The Klamath Falls Falcons advancing to the championship game after defeating Service 5-3. Thank you so much for joining us for this one, and we hope to see you again shortly on mybasin.com and 104.3 and 960 Sports.